Conversation, and I've got the video up. I had some struggle with the video the other day, so I wanted to give you a quick heads up. We've got the video stream back up. If you want to follow us over on Twitter there at News Radio 1029, you can do that, or you can just go to our website, newsradio1029.com, click on actually just kind of hover over the on-demand tab, and you'll see the little drop down for Karn TV, or you can go over to our YouTube channel and watch the video there. But I totally understand if you have no desire to watch my ugly mug as I sit here in the studio. So we will continue to do the live broadcasts on the radio as well, and we also stream live through the app and on through our website as well. So lots of ways to join us, to interact with the show as we kick off another Free Speech Friday today. We've got a lot to talk about. Of course, last night was the big boy news conference is what they called it. Joe Biden doing his best to recover from a disastrous performance at the debate a few weeks back. Didn't go so well. We'll talk a little bit about that press conference. I don't know if anybody watched it. I didn't watch it live. I watched it, I watched it in replay, I guess you would say. And it didn't, it was better than the debate, but it didn't really go very far to allay many fears. In fact, even more Democrats now have joined the ranks of those calling for President Biden to step down. Brian Klain, his former chief of staff, I believe for President Biden. I don't know if he's still with him or not, but Brian Klain, Ron Klain has, here I am getting names mixed up. Ron Klain has said, "Hey, knock it off. Joe's fine. We got to get behind him. We got to unite. We got to do whatever we got to do to make sure that Joe wins." And so, yeah, we're not gonna abandon Joe Biden just yet. But at some point, there's got to be some sort of closure for this discussion, because the Biden administration and the Biden campaign can't survive another 4 months of more and more within his own party calling on him to step down. Imagine we've now seen, 2 weeks of 24-hour news cycle. Joe needs to go. Joe needs to step down. Joe needs to step aside. Hand it over to Kamala. Hand it over to Newsom. Hand it over to anybody. But Joe's got to go. Imagine that now. As badly as that has been hurting Joe Biden in the polls, imagine that constant for the next 4 months. I'm not sure that Joe Biden survives this as far as a campaign goes. Here's the other question, though, that as we get into a Free Speech Friday, we're going to get into the little bit of the conspiracy theory end of this. The media, we all know, the media very rarely, the corporate conglomerates of CNN, MSNBC, the big news corporations, whether it's AP or Newsweek or the New York Times or whatever, these large, Reuters, whoever, they very rarely let us see anything they don't want us to see. They very rarely ever allow a narrative to be driven forward that they don't want driven forward. So I guess I'm kind of beginning to wonder, is this some sort of intentional psyop to simply prepare the American people for the shining knight on a brilliant white steed riding in to rescue the United States from the grips of demented Joe Biden and Hitler Donald Trump and whatever other crazy other nonsense they want to get into. But, here along comes the the future of America, the future of the party, whether it's somebody like a Gavin Newsom that a lot of people also think is crazy, but or some other, like a Hakeem Jeffries, a young, vibrant, and capable leader to step in and save the day and rescue all of us, plebes and idiots, from the dangers of Dementia Joe or the second coming of Donald Hitler Trump. Like, it's there's part of me that wonders if this is not a setup for something. If this is not the media simply preparing. They've got to make Joe look as bad as possible, because if they don't really, really lay the screws to him and really, really beat him down, well, then it's just, it's just sour grapes, right? It's well, I wanted the nomination and Joe took it from me, much like Hillary took the nomination from Bernie, and it just looks like more insider election rigging by the Democrats. And so they've got to do everything they can to make sure that Joe looks as bad as possible, so that whoever steps in doesn't necessarily look like they're stealing it away from poor old, Uncle Joe, but that they're actually rescuing us. And I'm beginning to wonder if this isn't orchestrated intentionally by the media, knowing that their best chance against Donald Trump is someone else, because look, we've been hearing the polls on this for the last year and a half. We've been hearing the polls on this. Joe Biden is too old, but you know what? Donald Trump's too old too. It's time to move on. We need a younger crowd and a younger leader, and if we get somebody who's young and upcoming, like an AOC or some other, rising star in the Democrat Party, Donald Trump faces a much tighter uphill battle. And so this is all a setup. And I say, if I were Republicans, if I were the Republican establishment, if I were the Republican Party, I would be putting out statement after statement. Hey, look, this is distracting from the work of this country needing to be done. We got to stop. Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee. There's never been a situation like this before. We've got to stop with all of the calls for him to step aside. We need to just come together, let the games begin, and let the election play out. And move forward with the candidates we've got. They may not be the best candidates of all time, but they're the candidates we have, and we need to let this play out, because I really genuinely believe that the Republican Party could struggle if Joe Biden is removed and they bring in a fresh new face that the wider base of the Democrat Party is willing to embrace. Because right now, a lot of people are going, yeah, I don't really like Donald Trump, but good God, look at what Joe's doing. The guy's deteriorating. I mean, he's the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. We're watching this guy die right in front of us. And that kind of middle of the road, undecided group that is much more likely to lean towards Donald Trump, if that group gets lost, if that group ends up going for the next big thing, the Netflix reality TV show chosen, bachelor president, that puts the Republican Party and Donald Trump on their back foot. So if I'm the Republican Party, I'd be doing everything I could to prop Joe Biden up and make sure that he stays in office until it's too late to change candidates. So anyway, with that, there's more to get to as we continue with the Schmidt Show. But that's just a few of the places we're going to start. And we're going to get into some conspiracy theory stuff with the PSYOPs and all that, and a whole lot more on a Free Speech Friday on News Radio 102.9 KRN.